So if I asked you to think about Puerto Rican foods, what comes to mind? Acapullas, pernil, rice and beans, maybe tostones. But what about yuca, yautía, fresh guava, fresh papaya, herbs, maybe some stewed fish? And these foods existed way before packaged seasoning did.
Yeah, that was a little jab at pre-mixed dry seasonings like adobo and sazon. But that's not the point of this video. I'm here to ask, why did the rates of diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease increase around the same time that traditional foods started to become influenced by industrialization? More heavily processed ingredients, added fillers, preservatives, added sugar, more deep frying and refined oils, the use of artificial dyes. Well, at least the US recently put a ban on artificial food coloring. But I think we can all agree that some of the top foods that come to mind when you think of Puerto Rican cuisine are pretty similar to what you see if you do a web search. Heavy on the refined processed starches and plenty of crispy, deep fried deliciousness. I know a good amount of people that have turned away from the foods they grew up with because they feel they're unhealthy. I don't think that they are. I just think the common diet could use more balance. We all know too much sugar is bad for our health, and what helps to offset that? More whole foods, more fiber, more healthy fats, lean protein sources. So can you still eat the foods you love and be health conscious? Of course you can. That's what I'm here for. I want to help you look for more opportunities to include more nutrient-dense foods into your everyday cooking. Kind of like what I'm doing here with this recipe. It's free. It's in one of my cookbooks. You can get it on my website. It's just my way of helping open people's minds a little bit on ways to not recreate traditional dishes, but just kind of look at your food a little differently. So one of the things I really enjoy with green bananas is not only are they already pretty high in potassium, you're getting a lot of fiber, but they're also resistant starch. So you can think of that kind of like additional fiber. Your body can't process all of that, which is also why it's nowhere near as sweet as fully ripe yellow bananas. But I think this is a good example of the foods you should be looking to make more of. Things that aren't gonna be fried, they're gonna be stewed or boiled, and they're using these like whole food ingredients. Like you're eating this whole thing minus the skin, and you're getting all the fiber, you're getting all the nutrients in there. And that's just something that you don't really get from eating white rice, pasta, and a lot of white breads. So if blood sugar is something you're trying to get under control, you want a little bit more of these. Should have taken that off first. Just boiling these for about 15 minutes, some salted water. And I'm also adding some garbanzos to this, and then a little aguacate that's just gonna give you some more healthy fats, more fiber, and more protein. I'm also using dried beans instead of canned. Texture's better, they just require a little more prep. So carbs, I feel, can be the hard part for a lot of people. We all enjoy our rice, and it's a staple, but most rice has been stripped of its nutrients and its fiber. So you can try making more nutrient-dense swaps like quinoa or amaranth. I've made some pretty bomb quinoa con candules before, so give it a try. But if you want to keep things a little bit more on the traditional ingredient side, start getting into the habit of buying more yuca, yautía, sweet potatoes, yams, and there's way more ways to cook them than just frying. You can do more stewing, baking, boiling. Think like a sancocho, asopao, or any kind of guisado. Like these foods bring a lot of nutrients, a good amount of fiber, and sometimes all you need is a little bit of olive oil with them. And of course, don't forget fresh tropical fruits. They're great as a snack, even a sweet treat for dessert, or when you're a little hungry but you want something kind of light and easier to digest. I hope this helps. I'm also putting together a small newsletter where I will talk more about some of these topics, share more recipe ideas, and see if there's anything else I can do to help just share more information with you guys. So go sign up, link is in the description. I'll send you some freebies and just let you know what else is going on top of talking a little bit more about other ways we can look at our food. And if you wanted this recipe, it's free. You can just grab it on my website, donation based, so you can just take it for free, or you can give me like 50 bucks if you want. But I hope it just gets you thinking that you have more options to stay with your traditional foods without having to sacrifice your health for it. But I'm also curious to know what swaps or alterations maybe you've made that you or your family have enjoyed. I feel like, you know, what's the saying? It takes a village. So the more people share their ideas, their recipes, what works, what doesn't work, the more our food can evolve and the more our health can improve.